Hello guys, so today I'm going to show you how to actually make scones for one, but you can also double to make for multiple people. So what you'll need today is a cup of self-raising flour. You'll need about 35 grams of butter at room temperature. You're going to need an egg, about 120 milliliters of milk, and you will need 2 tablespoons of castor sugar and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Alright, so now we definitely need to sift we need to sift. So we're going to sift our flour. And then we're going to add our baking powder. We're not going to add the sugar yet, and then we're just going to try and mix it in before we sift it through. And then we're going to sift. Also just like ensure to lift a bit to add a bit of air. Sifting is very important because it gives you like that fluffy feel to your actual baked goods at the end. So you can do this with even when you're making like muffins, etc. Makes them like fluffier and lighter. Alright, next up we're going to add our butter. So the butter must actually be at room temperature when you use it. No need to melt the butter. As waste as waste. Now that we have the butter, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually just add a pinch of salt, and then we're going to use our fingers to sort of like mash the butter into the flour and the baking powder. Then you get like these breadcrumby looking things. Then what we do is we are going to beat our egg. Okay, I obviously used a fork because of the size of my container. And then we add some milk. Alright. Okay, then we open up a center in our flour, and then we start to add some milk in the egg. We use a knife because that helps with the fluffiness. Butter knife, which should be fine. So what you find is usually I struggle with the consistency with these, especially when you're making for one, so you can keep adding the flour and baking powder. But at the end, this is the type of consistency that you're looking for. So what you do now is you knead the dough, but not like over, because over has like a lot of pressure, and the batter / dough for scones actually doesn't need that much pressure. So it's just gently, although it doesn't necessarily look like I'm doing it gently, but it's gently just kneading the dough, putting it together. So what I put on the surface before I did the kneading was that I actually put some of the flour there. Okay, now time to actually prep our clean tray. Unfortunately, I don't have a smaller tray than this one, so I'll just be using this one. And we sprinkle some flour onto the tray as well. So onto the next bit of fun, cutting. So these are the cutters that I have. My scones are actually going to be quite large. Just looking at your dough, it should be about 2 centimeters wide. Off the actual surface. Then you must just clean your cutters, and then afterwards just put them in a bit of flour, and this assists with them not actually sticking to your dough. Now it's time to cut. And there you have it, your 6 little scones. Then now you use whatever was left over from your milk and egg. You must leave some behind and just put it on top of each scone. This will give it the nice brownish color. So usually you'd use like your brush to do this, but anayo. So I just use a teaspoon, and also my fingers does the same thing. Then I had preheated my oven at 230 degrees Celsius. And I put my scones in the oven. So that means I must adjust my temperature to only a small adjustment to 220. Bake for 15 minutes. And wait, and there you have them, your 6 scones. Goodness. Lovely. I really love how fluffy these are, and also just they look very scrumptious. So to serve, I whipped up some cream, added some strawberry jam, made it look a little za. Enjoy.